Hey guys, so we're approaching Christmas. We've got about 2 weeks left maybe. So everyone's now starting to watch their Christmas movies about Santa Claus and elves. But what about the darker side of Christmas? What about those myths and those creatures that we just don't really hear about? I thought in today's video we'd go through the 9 myths and legends from the dark side of Christmas. So the first one is the Krampus. Now the Krampus is something I have been familiar with because there are movies and it's more widely spoken about, I think. Now, this is described as half goat, half demon, and it originates from Austria. So if you think of Bad Santa, you've then got the Krampus, which is an even worse version of Bad Santa. And what he does is he's known to carry a basket on his back for his catch of his day, and that's what he's going to have for dinner. Usually it would be a small child. There is actually a day called Krampus Night as well, which is celebrated on the 5th of December, which we have just missed, mostly in Austria and other parts of Europe. And what happens is people will dress as the Krampus with the intention of scaring people, demanding alcohol. Previously, they would actually beat people up though, so it has evolved. It's maybe not so aggressive as it used to be. But as I said, it's a half goat, half demon. It's meant to have phallic horns, shaggy fur, a curved tongue, and fangs as well. So not the nicest of creatures really to be terrorizing you, but like I said, kind of goes after small children in legend, looking for something to eat for his dinner. So that one maybe you are familiar with. That's one that I definitely was familiar with as well. The second one is one again I am kind of familiar with, and this is Belsnickel. I know Belsnickel from, I think it's a Santa Claus movie. There's a Belsnickel in that, but I think this one is quite a bit different. So Belsnickel originates from Germany. He's clad in fur and sometimes has a mask with a long tongue. He carries a switch in his hand and he beats naughty children. But there is a good side to Belsnickel. If you are nice, Belsnickel will give you cakes and candies and nuts instead of a beating. So really it's a naughty and nice thing. It's a really dramatic version of Santa. You know, if you're good for Santa, you get presents. If you're bad, you get coal. With Belsnickel, if you're good, you get candies and sweets and treats. If you're bad, you're gonna get beaten up. The third one is the Yule Cat. Again, something I am familiar with from the Santa Claus movies, and this one originates from Iceland. Now, the Yule Cat is not a nice kitty. It's not one you're gonna want in your house. He has razor-like whiskers, blazing eyes, and giant claws. He goes around hunting, not mice, but people. Any child that does not receive new clothes on Christmas Day is also prime for being a feast for the Yule Cat. This is actually tied to an Icelandic tradition where anyone who finishes all their work on time receives clothes for Christmas, and those who don't, those who are considered lazy, will not receive clothes for Christmas, and therefore they are prime pickings for the Yule Cat. This is actually told by parents to their children as a reminder for their kids to complete their chores and to do all their things on time, so they're not sacrificed to the big bad kitty. That's scary. Can you imagine being told by your parent, if you don't do the chores, if you don't empty this dishwasher, this cat's going to come and take you in the night and eat you? I'm glad I didn't grow up in Iceland, because that's a stuff of nightmares. That's terrifying. So the next one is one that I find really interesting. They're more cheeky than evil, I think, and these are the Yule Lads. Now these are gnome looking creatures. They're not to be confused with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Absolutely, completely different. These trolls, these gnome things, visit houses between the 12th of December and the 24th, and you get one Yule Lad a day. Each one has a different type of mischief, so again you could almost say it's a bit like Snow White. You've got Sleepy and Grumpy and all that sort of thing, but these Yule Lads are mischievous, so they have different traits that they will be mischievous with. So you might get one that will lick your spoons, you might get one that just slams doors, and there's even one that swipes sausages. Can you imagine waking up all your pigs and blankets have gone? So they do sound very much like angsty teenagers, you know, slamming that door, and they're just gonna take things that aren't theirs, but they're not as aggressive as they used to be. Back in the day, they were really vicious and they would actually scare children into good behaviour with brutality. I don't know what it is with Iceland and things eating and beating up children, but apparently in the dark Christmas legends, that is what they did. Next is Frau Persche. I hope I've said that right. And she is from Germany and Austria, also known as La Befana. And again, if you've seen the Santa Claus TV series, Befana is there. Now Befana is known, again, a bit like Belsnickel, to be good and bad, depending on what you're like. She's known to give out rewards and punishments over the 12 days of Christmas, starting from December 25th. Now she can switch between being a beautiful alpine goddess or a sadistic hag, depending on if you have pleased her or angered her. So what you see is very much a vision of how you've behaved and what your character is like, I guess. If you anger her though, she will rip out your internal organs and replace them with junk. Yeah, I definitely think I'd be behaving, because that is, I have no words, that is just mental, that is just mad. For number 6, we are going to France and we're going to visit Hans Trapp. So we all know about the Christmas villain Hans Gruber from Die Hard, which is a Christmas movie. Fight me in the comments, it is a Christmas movie. Maybe that's a discussion for another time. And we all know Hans Gruber is a pretty awful person. Hans Trapp is way worse though. The legend says that Hans Trapp was a Satanist and he was actually excommunicated from the Catholic Church. He was then exiled into the forest and he then disguised himself as a scarecrow to prey on children. I don't think I need to say anything more about that really. That's just, you've got Satanism, excommunicated, and dodgy scarecrows. However, in France they still use this story to get their children to eat their Brussels sprouts. I personally don't need convincing to eat my sprouts, but if I did, that would probably do it. Next, we're going to Norway and we're going to visit Lussie. It could be Lucy. I'm sorry, I could be getting this wrong. Now this is a really interesting one. This is someone that is now represented as a beautiful woman. She has a sash, she has a lovely crown. And there is a day for her. So December 13th in Norway and Sweden marks St. Lucia's Day. However, that wasn't always the case. A few centuries ago, it was celebrated completely differently. And it's said that evil spirits and demons wander the earth on December 13th. Or the night before, should I say. Children were left at home and expected to behave while their adults, their parents, their guardians protected the house. To protect it, they'd use a cross. Demons, crosses, it all links in. Now, Lucy, so I will say it, is portrayed as an awful demon with just tyrannical powers. It's just mad. She wouldn't just cause mayhem. She would destroy properties, crops, livestock as well. Anyone who would not be tucked up in bed would be kidnapped and killed. So, you know, you have Santa and he's like, he knows if you're awake, he knows if you're asleep, just go to bed, just wait till the morning, you know. That kind of had a more excited feel to it. This, if you do not get tucked up in bed, you're going to be kidnapped and killed. That is scary. That is, I think I've been making a fort the day before Lucy's Day every year and just staying in my bed fort, because that's just mad. Like, that's just insane. So our second to last dark myth, dark creature, is coming from Turkey and Bulgaria. And I am going to pronounce this wrong, so I'm just going to read it as I say it. It's the Karankonkolos, I think. I could be wrong, I probably will be wrong. But it's like a more scary version of Bigfoot. In Turkey, it stands on street corners and gives riddles to passers-by. If you reply with an answer that has the word black in it, you're free to go. you'll be unharmed. If not, you get knocked out. You get knocked out cold. In other parts of the world, it's a mimic. It's been known to mimic a friend's voice to lure its victim out into the snow. So, riddle, get it wrong, or that the word doesn't contain the word black in it, you get knocked out, or you think your mum's calling you or your friend's calling you from around the corner, you go into the snow, you get lured. Which is worse? Yeah, which is worse? I think they're both pretty bad, but I mean that one's mad. Like, that one is bizarre. More of a mischief than evil, I would say. Definitely dark, definitely deranged, but you know, not too bad. So our last one is from Greece, and again, I'm really sorry, I'm probably going to be butchering this. It's the Kalinkatzazouri. And this isn't just one demon or entity. This is a group. In Greece, it's said that these monsters spend the entire year underground, soaring through the tree of life that runs through the earth. Then they arrive in December to cause mischief and chaos. The things that they do: steal any child born over the 12 days of Christmas and turn them into a demon like themselves, which is a bit mad. Can you imagine being a mum and praying that your child will not be born over the 12 days of Christmas in case they get stolen and turned into a demon? As if pregnancy wasn't so tough as it was. I mean, I don't even know, like, that's just bizarre, that's just mad. If you did happen to have a child over the 12 days of Christmas, there was a way to protect them. You would bind them in straw and garlic, and then you'd place a colander outside your house. The demons would be roped then into counting the holes of the colander. However, it's quite clever, because number 3 in Greek is holy. Therefore, these demons would miscount and they'd have to start all over again, and it would keep them busy. So that's the one way. If you did have a child over the 12 days of Christmas, you need some straw, some garlic, and a colander. So that is all 9 dark creatures. I have to admit, I think the scariest one, I think it has to be Krampus. The other ones, some of the other ones, you know, depending on how you behave, depends on what happens. Krampus is just evil. You know, eating children, in previous years, getting beaten up because people were, you know, imitating or what have you. And I think for me it looks the scariest. The Yule lads, they're gnomes, they'll come up to my ankle probably. You've got Belsnickel and La Befana, who, again, as I said, if you're good, you get treated and rewarded. If you're bad, you get punished, which, isn't that kind of how life is anyway? The Yule cat has to be up there as one of the scary ones though, because can you imagine being stalked by a cat that is going to eat you? So that is all 9 nefarious creatures and dark characters to show you in this video. Let me know what you think, if you've heard of another one that is maybe worthy of the list, or which one you think is most terrifying. It's even now as an adult, I wouldn't want to be put in a basket and eaten. As a kid it would have absolutely terrified me, but yeah, let me know what you think, which is your top 3. Behave, otherwise you may have your internal organs ripped out and stuffed with junk instead. Anyway guys, thank you for watching. Like the video if you like the video. Press subscribe, it's free for you, it helps me out a lot. I hope you guys are excited for Christmas and that you have a great rest of your day.